Please welcome Winona LaDuke.
Awesome. Powerful woman. Thank you, sister. Thank you. I hope.
Hey, and one more time, give it up for that lady. She's awesome. Not exactly sure who she is, but she's awesome. What's your name again?
Jora.
Jora? All right. Okay. So, anin nindoy magaradak nigagoy getibagas bide sikwe to go monkoy no dem gababani kagish kanigring and dunjibami which. You know, I brought my notes in case I got a really big contact high and I forgot where I was, okay? So kind of help me out because I'm a really, really lightweight.
Goddamn Indian.
Yeah. Things might get real tangential. I introduced myself in my language, Ojibwe. I think you know that, and I'm thanking you very much for the honor of being here. It's a beautiful day. Minogijigat out here. You guys having a good weekend?
Yeah.
Very awesome, I say. I just drove up from down by Ashland and with my 10-year-old who is wandering around here someplace. And we're very honored to be here. I'm from the, I don't know if you know much about me, but I'm from the White Earth Reservation, which is in northern Minnesota. That's where I live and work. And done that for about 30 years, but I actually was raised part of my life in Ashland. So I was happy to come back here and see my family. And it was good. So this month here in our language is called Mean Jesus, which is pretty appropriate for here. That means Blueberry Month in Ojibwe. And looks like that's Blueberry Month here. I heard you guys ate all the Tayberries, is that right?
Yeah.
I want to check out the Tayberries. I never even heard of a Tayberry before here. But the month that follows this is Mino Minike Jesus, Wild Rice Making Moon, and then we have Watebaga Jesus, which is when the leaves change color. Banakweo Jesus, that's when the leaves fall. And then we got a month called Gashkadno Jesus, Freezing Over, Moon. Then we got a moon that's called Manadu Jesus Soon's Little Spirit Moon, Gishi Manadu Jesus Great Spirit Moon. Name Ben Jesus Sucker Moon, that's a fish, Sucker Moon. Then my personal favorite moon, which I think you guys could probably relate to, is called the Anabana Jesus. You like that, how that sounds? Anabana Jesus. That means a hard-crusted snow moon. You know, when it freezes and then it thaws, it freezes again. Also known as moon, you don't want to do a face plant in the snow. And then we got our maple syruping moon, then we have our Wabagana Jesus, our flower moon, and then our Odemina Jesus, our strawberry moon. That's our moons here, and this here is Mean Jesus, as I said. It's a full moon, beautiful out here. And I appreciate that. And I just want to say that because, I don't know, did you notice that none of those moons are named after a Roman emperor?
Awesome. Yeah.
Did you guys hear that? I just want to mention that it is possible to have an entire world view that has nothing to do with empire.
What a concept. Yeah.
It is possible, okay? And I know you are all very conscious people, and I just want to encourage you in that process of realizing that there is a post-empire reality and a pre-empire reality, and that's where we need to be going. Because the reality is, as you know, a society based on conquest cannot be sustained. You run out of frontiers, you run out of places to mine, to put your flag. All of that, at some point you gotta quit and figure out how to make peace, Oma a king, peace with the land, which is a good thing. That's what you're all trying to do here, and I appreciate being a part of it. So in saying that, I want to say that don't come easy. If you think this all come easy, then better think again. And I pick up some beautiful hippies. I don't know where my beautiful hippies went on the way. I picked them up by Grants Pass. I drove them here. I said, come with me over here for the day, and then we'll continue on. But I asked them what they're into, my beautiful hippie friends, and they said they was into love and music.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. But I guess I want to point out to you that we might need a little bit more work to join with that, to keep with the love and music thing going on, okay? I just want to mention that. We'll work on it because I think you know a little bit. I work for about pretty much my whole adult life here. I've been engaged in this struggle, and we fought a lot of things. And sometimes a couple years ago I went down to Santa Barbara, and I look out there. How many of you have been to Santa Barbara? All right, so if you look out there, you see some oil rigs. You see those guys? But you know what you don't see? You don't see the liquefied natural gas terminal. And that's what they want to build out there in the early 80s. And so what happened is a bunch of people fought it. And so sometimes the greatest testaments to our struggle are things you don't see. That's really, really important to remember. But people had to fight to do that. Or up here, one of my personal favorite bad acronyms, WHOOPS. How many of you guys remember WHOOPS? Washington Public Power Supply. The great nuclear reactor fiasco of the last time they tried to reboot the nuclear industry, right? Always a bad acronym, huh? Now, I don't know whatever happened to those 2 reactors near Olympia. I haven't been back there. I was there a few years ago, and they had an article in the paper, and they said, trying to figure out what to do with those reactor shells. And they said the 2 proposals was so American in those proposals. One proposal was, it was either a proposal to put a shopping mall or a prison in there. Isn't that sounds American, doesn't it? You know, take one building, put shopping mall or prison. That's a good idea, huh? I don't know, but whoops, you know, this decline of bad ideas. Actually, my proposal was going along with my friend Ralph Nader's proposal. He wants a museum of torts, which is, I think, what they should put there. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but basically museums of bad ideas, right? So you could put like the Dalcon shield, remember that? That was like that birth control device that exploded in your uterus thing. And then you got the Ford Pinto with the exploding gas tank, you know? Can have nuclear power. It's got a bunch of like the silicone breast implant thing fiasco, and I don't know, like just a museum of bad ideas. Don't you think we should have one of those someplace where we could say, "Man, that was a really bad idea. I'm glad that didn't pan out." You know. So sometimes you got to keep that, you know, thought that some of our best victories are things we defeated already, but someone had to defeat them. Our latest project we defeat up in my area was we defeat this coal-fired power plant. And you know, it's been about 227 proposals for coal-fired power plants in this country over the past 10 years, and you know that there's only about 30 of them, I believe, that are still considered viable proposals. Which is all bad, but think about that. That's not too bad of a ratio. You see what I'm saying? 220-some proposed coal-fired power plants, all defeated by folks like you guys if you aren't too high to do it. Right? Pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So there, I was up there. There's this power plant that they want to put up by us, and its name was Big Stone 2, because they already had Big Stone 1 up, but we call it, of course, because it's such a great acronym, BS2. Because the first one was a bad idea. The second one come out. They want to put up this new coal plant, and they want to do 1,000 megawatts. It's right over here. It's over the South Dakota border from Minnesota. And South Dakota is like the most backward state as far as its environmental policies, only exceeded, I think, by North Dakota, and then above that, Alberta. You know, just really backward states. No renewable energy portfolio, no net metering, you know, so you can sell to the grid. You understand what I'm saying? They're just like backwards in their whole thing out there. And they got, South Dakota, they got like the best darn wind in the country, right? They have sustained 200-mile-an-hour gusts out on Rosebud Reservation, right? You want to have one wind turbine out there, not a coal plant, right? You know, if anybody's going to be making sense out there, so they're trying to put this coal plant out there with 1,000 megawatts, and then their plan number 1 was to sell it to Minnesota, which already had a renewable energy portfolio. You guys follow me on this thing pretty much? Okay. And they're trying to sell it there to Minnesota, and Minnesota's saying, well, we don't really think we can take 1,000 megawatts of coal because it's not part of our plan. You know, so they keep trying to sell it, and pretty soon their investors start falling off. You know, in the meantime, all the environmental groups are fighting it. So we roll in about, I'm not going to say, well, we roll in about 9 o'clock on the time scale. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying we roll in at 11, but I was watching these environmental groups fight it, and if you're my age, you don't want to have every battle. If they look like they got it, you just let them take it. You understand what I'm saying? But at some point, you got to try to roll in there if it looks like they might need your help. So what happened is that they try to put this coal plant, they get it down to 500 megawatts, at which point they point out that, you know, no one has ever entered the native people into the equation. The coal plant is directly upwind from the Sisseton Reservation in South Dakota, and they're using their water. And you think that they ever once asked the Sisseton people about this, right? Now, technically, the tribe is required to be consulted. And so we go to start talking to the company about it, and this company, it's not a little redneck town. I just went in Cottage Grove. That looked kind of redneck to me. Am I right on that? Did I miss something there? There's a heck of a lot of pickup trucks and guys with glasses like mine in there. But anyway, this town this town just south of my reservation called Fergus Falls, and they're kind of got bad karma town. But anyway, this power company is from that town, and they're called Ottertail Power, and it's just about 100 miles south of that reservation, and they don't see Indians. You know, and that's really scary to some white people if they don't see Indians and then they see Indians. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's just like this is a bad thing gonna happen when the native people roll into town, you know? And so we go into town and it's Ottertail Power, and what happened is, and this same thing happens in Oregon and other places, all the environmental groups are in cool places like Eugene and Portland and Seattle. They aren't in the little redneck towns. Did you ever notice how this works out? You know, because there's a lot more cappuccino, it's very nice. You know, you can go get you can live green, you can do your e-recycling. Everything is good in the little nice towns, so it's much more comfortable to be an environmentalist in these other towns, you know, than to be out there on the edge, you know, of the Enlightenment. We'll call it that. So that's what I got to deal with. Is I live on the other side, right? And so we go, and I say, you know what, Ottertail Power, we would like to be part of this discussion because our tribe has had enough mercury from your coal plant already. We got it in our lakes. I got a fish consumption advisory out for our lake. We'd like to be part of this dialogue, and the Sisseton tribe would also like to be part of this dialogue. And Ottertail Power is like, you know, kind of trying to hide from me a little bit. You know, and then I say, look, how about this? These kids come to my house. Well, they come to my organization. And they say, Winona, we'd like you to teach, could you teach us a workshop on environmental justice? I said, oh, this is perfect. These are kids from the Fergus Falls College, right, which is the redneck town that the power company is in. I said, how about this? How about I teach you how to put on an event? How about I teach you how to hold a press conference and do a press release? Do a little corporate research and hold a public debate. Would you like that? These students start organizing, and we organize this event, which is a debate between Ottertail Power Company, us, and one environmental group, Sierra Club. I think that's fair. You know what I'm saying? We have a public debate on this issue. Ottertail Power don't want to debate. They back out. They want to pick the questions and the moderator. I said that's not a fair debate, right? That's not how that works. So I said they don't want to meet with us. Those students, that teacher almost lost her job. So finally, we keep having these meetings down there, and then we go to their shareholders meeting. Have any of you guys ever been to a shareholders meeting of a corporation? I mean, raise your hand.
Bullshit.
Right, well, there's only this one guy. He's real radical, the front row. You guys, you should check this out sometime. Go to a shareholders meeting. Have a reason to go there. You know, but this is what we do. So we go down there, and my son, I don't know if you saw my son, he's wearing a little black cat, and he's got a yellow shirt on, and he's 10. And they say that the big press releases, the big press in the paper is that these protesters and dissidents are going to come to Ottertail Power shareholders meeting, right? And so they get all these extra cops and security. It's down there at like the Holiday Inn in this little town. And so we pull in, and this is the protesters. The protesters is me, this one lady named Peggy from Sisseton Wahpeton, one nice lady named Seisha Kearns from Sierra Club, my son, who is then 8, and this guy dressed as a giant otter.